Mark,
Yeah.
you mentored me. I'm now mentoring other people. For people who are watching this, whether they're Toastmasters or not, what advice would you give to someone who wants to mentor someone else? What makes a good mentor? What can we do to be better mentors? What advice do you have to mentor mentors?
Good question. In my opinion, from my perspective, a mentor's responsibility is to find the gold within the protege. Find it and mine it. Pull it out. For me, the goal is how can I bring out the best in the person who has chosen me to mentor them? And that can only come, first of all, from a relationship, because not everyone who's gifted in an area is qualified to be a mentor to everybody else who wants to pursue that goal. I would not be the best mentor for everybody. It was tough enough being Darren's mentor. Trust me, that was tough enough. But you have to understand, your goal is not to show them how good you are. Your goal as a mentor is to show them how good they are and to pull out from within them what they don't yet see in themselves. Your eye has to be keen. What can they become? What can they deliver? Who can they be? And how can I help them to achieve that? How can I help their thought process? How can I direct them to think differently, to expand their thinking, or to tap into a resource within them that I see? In Darren's case, I realized his love for his nephews. And I mentioned to him at one point, listen, pick that child in your life, maybe your nephew, and if you want to leave them a message, what would that one message be? Because I understand his passion for his family. And when you understand the person, not just what goals they have, but get to know them and build a relationship. We say the term mentoring relationship. We toss it around. It really is a relationship. To find who they are, to see the potential, and to find ways, oftentimes creative ways to pull it out. For some people, mentoring requires instruction and guidance. For others, mentoring requires listening, asking questions, and drawing out from them the answers within them. The trick is to find out what technique works best for what protege. And remember, not everyone is going to be the best protege or the best mentor. That takes a special kind of relationship. And if it works, if it really works, it'll last a long time. And it's been 17 years so far? I know I get to work with this guy. Can you believe that? That's from mentoring, and now he gets to mentor other people. Do what you can, whatever way you can, to help them be all that they can be.
What mistakes do you think mentors make, or somebody new to mentoring that maybe they're trying too hard?
Yeah, well, that's it. We're gung-ho. I have this experience, this knowledge, this expertise. I can't wait to give it to my mentee who came to me. They were, okay, great, get this. Whoosh, and we blah, all over them, and we overwhelm them. Did I do that to you?
I think I taught you how to do what you just did, that blah all over you. I think I'm a bad influence on Mark Brown.
No, but honestly though, the mistake is we want to give so much, we might overwhelm them. The key is to find out, what do they need, what do I have that they need, and how can I best impart that to them in a meaningful way and in a lasting way. So one is, don't dump everything on them at one time. You don't need to be a slave driver or with a bullwhip, because different people respond to different stimuli. I have clients who say, okay, what do I do next? Tell me what to do. There's nothing, I got one guy tell me to this day, said, listen, there's nothing you tell me to do I won't do. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. He wants to be given things to do. A good mentor understands what techniques work with each protege, because every protege is not going to be the same kind of person.
That's a great,
you have to know what works. It applies to management, to leadership, and to coaching. What works here may not work there. There is no cookie cutter method to being a good mentor. It may seem that way in theory, but trust me, there isn't.
I think we also have to be careful. This is, I won't mention the name or the country, but I was in a foreign country, and this man was mentoring these two brand new Toastmasters, and it broke my heart, because I see that he really didn't know what he was talking about as a speech coach, if you will, and they're hinging on his every word, and I'm listening to what he's saying, and I'm just like, no, like, there was this one line that he thought was funny, and he's like, no, bring more energy to it, and it became so inauthentic, it was ridiculous. And I didn't know how to like help the situation because I'm the outsider.
Right,
I have a
yeah.
lot of credibility, yes, but I also don't want to harm the relationship between those two. But I think sometimes we forget how precious when people come to us for advice, you know, come to you, a mentor, for advice. We have to be careful with that because sometimes we can give the wrong advice and be bad influence.
That's true. And be overbearing. You know, and the funny thing is, you know, I tell my clients, my proteges, those who work with me, I said, I'm going to give you advice based on my experience, my expertise, but it is a suggestion to guide you along the path. If at any point you feel, you know, Mark, that's not going to work for me, and you tell me I'd rather not, you won't hurt my feelings. I won't be upset. I want you to find your voice, develop your level of confidence, and be able to defend what you believe. My job as a mentor isn't to force you to adopt my style of thinking, my style of speaking, or my style of anything. I don't want to recreate another me. I have to find the best you that's out there. So just because you know a subject or a topic, you aren't automatically qualified to be a mentor. You have to know how to deal with people, to read people, to understand people, to be sensitive to people, and to respond to people appropriately. I've had people who I was coaching who go on a Zoom call or a Skype call, and I could tell immediately something was wrong. I've had clients on 4 different occasions, 4 different people crying on a Skype call because I was more concerned about their life than about their speech. And when you build a kind of relationship, it isn't going to be all business. Now, this is Mark Brown talking. For me, it isn't all business because you know what? Mentorship isn't just about a business, to me, about a business contact or a business relationship. To me, mentorship is exactly that, a relationship. And if your protege understands you care about them beyond the assignment, that changes everything. You have to be concerned about them as a person, as a family member, what they're dealing with, because their life is more important than a project. And if you can show care and concern for their life, you'll be more effective dealing with a project, in my experience and in my opinion.
Final advice to mentors?
This is all really corny. Love your protege. Love on them. Give the kitchen sink. Don't hold anything back. Use your expertise, give it away, share it. Invest time trying to find out more about them. Think about more creative ways to help them. And I recommend the advice that comes from my mentor, David Brooks. He said to me one day, Mark, I want you to surpass me. That's a mentor's heart, who wants the best for their protege, even if it means their protege will rise higher than they will. That isn't important. The goal is to help them be the best that they can be, not just in the area of speaking or work or leadership or sales, but in their lives. That's what a mentor does.